You know, it's funny. Sometimes you miss the forest for the trees. And when you finally hear an answer to a question that you're asked all the time, and that answer is so simple and obvious, you just can't help but chuckle. You know, I was listening to, well, of course, if you've been talking to me as of late, I've been talking a lot about precious metals, particularly silver. Of course, I was making bets and all this on gold, but silver was the real play in the end. And I'm sure gold will have its time to shine again, but as of right now, the play is silver. Now, whether it's gold or silver or any other asset, really, particularly, I mean, whatever it is, you know, whether it's Bitcoin or, you know, even copper, the invariable question that's going to be asked is, well, what do I do with all this stuff, right? Because think about it, it's a piece of metal or whatever that remains static. Its value doesn't change, its intrinsic value doesn't change, only its notional value, right? In other words, the dollar value of this stuff changes because the dollar is changing, not the actual metal itself. So the question is, well, what the hell do we do with this metal? When do we sell, right? And the answer that I typically give people is you never sell, right? You never sell until you have to. Now, those are the two scenarios, all right? One is you never, and two is when you have to, right? You never do because you want to pass it down generationally. You want to give that inflation hedge to your future generations. You know, I know it is not necessarily a hedge against inflation. It is a hedge against government incompetence, which means it has value for eternity if you understand the nature of humanity. So that's the first answer. The second answer is, well, if you have a home on a piece of land that you own or whatever, or any other, you know, thing that you have to pay for repairs, or in which you're in some sort of, let's just say a civil war or whatever, you got to trade those silver coins for, well, I don't know, cigarettes and food, so be it, right? It's when you either never sell or when you need to. Well, those are actually very extreme scenarios, of which doesn't sit right in a lot of people. I actually think, well, I didn't think this. This is how stupid sometimes you could be. You know, this is how myopic a person can be. The third answer actually makes the most sense. And what is that? You sell your precious metal or Bitcoin or whatever for an income producing asset. Very simple, isn't it? Think about how funny that is. Like, that is such a simple, reasonable answer. You sell your gold, you sell your precious metals or your Bitcoin for something that makes you even more money, that's worth more in the long run. So in other words, land and property, which will always have value, or like a business where people actually come and pay you, right? Or I mean, hell, even the networking opportunities of having a business is valuable in and of itself too. But of course, you want money coming in, right? The reasonable answer here is an income producing asset. I just couldn't help but laugh because that is such an obvious answer.